All right, Meta, what's your topic?
It's kind of a split this week. I'm gonna be talking about a couple things. First one is the new affiliate program that came out with Twitch. They've been working on this a while back, but they didn't really release anything until I would say maybe a few weeks ago, and then just this week, or I believe is the case, is that they finally released the program. And for all of you out there who are attempting to become up-and-coming streamers, this is actually a pretty good thing for you. The affiliate program is essentially something in between the partner program that they have on there and then just being kind of a free streamer.
Yeah, I think they said they meant it as a stepping stone.
Yeah, and that's really what they want it to be. It's that in between state that kind of allows you the attention for those who actually want to get into it and are attempting to do so, and those who just really just stream itself. So it's got a couple of things in there. You do have to meet some eligibility requirements because it's not just for anybody to get on there. And part of that eligibility requires that you at least have 500 total minutes broadcasted in the last 30 days, which is essentially more than 8 hours broadcasting time. And this has to be done on 7 unique broadcast days, all again within the last 30 days. You actually have to have an average of 3 concurrent viewers or more over the last 30 days. And the one thing that'll kind of, I think, be the biggest gate for most people is at least 50 followers. You actually need to have 50 people, following you. Otherwise, it doesn't matter how much you stream or how many days you do it on. So there is that. But once you do meet those requirements, they will shoot you an email or give you a small notification or both on the on Twitch.tv, and you can just check it out on your dashboard. So once you meet those requirements, it's pretty much a guarantee to get in unless you decide not to. So it's not like they're just picking people out for the affiliate either.
And tell me, Meta, what do you get for joining the program?
Well, you get a couple of things. The two biggest things are the fact that you actually do have you get the chance to actually get paid for what you're streaming, which is always a nice thing. And I guess for people who care a little bit more about this, you do get the ability to get one emote, special emote, custom one for your own channel as well.
So people will be able to subscribe to you, right?
Well, no, not yet.
No?
That's still for the partner. Affiliates can't do that yet.
Then how do you get?
Is it bit-based, or does everyone in your chat get it?
It's based on their bits. You have to gain it through bits and bits alone at the moment. I was going to go into this a little bit later on, but there are differences. Just going out of the monetization tools, you get to get cheering with bits, but you don't get any custom cheer modes with that. Unlike the Twitch partner, subscriptions are coming soon. They do know about that. It is going to be something for affiliates, but it's not guaranteed. There will eventually be game sales and ads, which, I guess are up for the person to decide if they want those things on there, but, you're going to get hit with them regardless. For video tools, this is actually kind of more what I find interesting, is that you actually get priority access for transcodes. You don't get full access, but it does mean that at least if you're doing stuff and there's space for it, you'll get priority with them over just anybody else that just happens to be streaming.
Yeah.
Beyond that, though, there's no difference between like when your past broadcast storage starts and stops. Stream delays, you cannot still choose to delay your stream for any period of time. You do get chargeback protection, obviously, because you have monetization now. That said, your payout time frame is 60 days as compared to the 45 for the partners. Your payout fees are covered by affiliates, not by Twitch as well. So it's kind of based on who you're affiliated with. You do not get an upgrade in, unfortunately, your customer support either. You are still stuck to standard support queue. And then everything else is pretty much just the same for all streamers. For anybody who's just normally streaming, anything I've named off that you can think of or off the top of your head is gone.
So do you get chat badges, like custom chat badge?
Chat badges? People can
if you
get...
I know they have the bit badges, but if you subscribe to the channel, when you're in that person's chat, you're gonna have their little chat badge beside you.
Oh yeah.
I'm guessing probably not until you get until they unlock subscribers.
Yeah, that won't show.
Still.
Yeah, that won't show up until you get actually subscribers. So there is actually some stuff I want to actually just mention to people here, though, is that if you do become an affiliate, they shoot you over to that part where they explain what do you have to do, what do you have to give. You do obviously have to agree to some basic information when you register with the program. You have to just provide some, general stuff. You then actually have to sign their agreement to the terms of the program. You do have to find some time to sit down and provide Amazon your tax information by completing both the royalty and service tax interviews, TIMS. So there is that. And then you actually have to tell them where you want to have your payments sent to, because that's pretty important that you get the money you make if they happen to do that.
Yeah.
So they give you a couple lists of things what you can do and whatnot. The ratio for bits, which is probably one of the more important things I think for people who care about that kind of thing, is that you essentially receive 1 cent per bit that's used in a cheer in a channel, which as is current is the only way to do it. And bits, it's a nice system, but it's not a great system in my eyes. Bits unfortunately require that somebody actually pay money for bits, and then they can use it as they see fit. You'll oftentimes I probably see a lot more people utilize donations and stuff just because that's a more direct process.
It was Twitch's way of trying to get a little bit of money out of donations, basically, is what it is.
I think so too. I'm not a big fan of it, but I mean, it's there, and that's how you could make cash.
It's fun.
I mean, if you do bits though, you do get it is beneficial though in a way, because if you unless you're donating something crazy high, you generally won't get remembered, just because there's just a point where you stop being remembered for that. But the bit system does give you a badge. Depending on how many bits you've spent over the course of your lifetime, and that badge continues to increase. So you can at least see how much somebody has actually spent on your channel, and it'll give you an idea of who they are. But obviously, most people are going to be always following who's interacting the most, with names that are showing up more often than not. You're going to probably get that over the bits, but it's a good way to make yourself stand out if that's something you want to do for that channel.
Do affiliates get ad revenue too, or they still don't use ads, do they?
No, they don't do ads. That's eventually going to come to them, but as of the moment, they do not get ad revenue. That is something for Twitch partners and Twitch partners alone.
Yeah, so it really is the stepping stone. I'm guessing that Twitch is probably going to use it just to be able to more closely monitor people who want to be serious about getting into partnership. That's and kind of have a way to track their stats, see how much money comes in their channel, how many viewers they have, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing it as too, because I mean, it's just when you have either you're a partner, which takes admittedly a good amount of time and effort to get to, as opposed to just anybody else out there, having this kind of in between is at least a nice way to see who's actually dedicated to doing this and who's just streaming to show off to their buddies or friends or something.
I've seen a lot on Twitter, but hopefully people are smart enough not to do this. But just being an affiliate doesn't mean that you need to quit your job and become a full-time streamer.
Yeah, that definitely would be very careful about just jumping on that idea, because it's not an easy process for anybody who's actually attempting to get into Twitch or streaming. Trying to actually become a partner is not easy, and generally it's accepted that you're going to have to not only attempt to stream a lot, but you're generally going to have some sort of other channel or something that you can pull from, like a YouTube channel or some other place that people might know you from, being a part of a really big community, something like that, that'll get other people to come and show up beyond just attempting to stream on Twitch, because there are priorities to the people who generally have most people pouring in. So, but there is that.
That's cool. It doesn't really sound like there's much of a negative to it.
No, there's really not.
No, there's not.
There's no negative to it. I mean, beyond the fact that you might have to provide some information for tax information, but if that's your complaint, then that's right down. Yeah, so
especially for Twitch, I mean, they're just going to make more money off of it. So.
Yep, I mean that's how it is. So, but I mean, they're a business; they want to make money because that's how they're going to support you as well. So, using their service. So the second thing, which I think is a perfect thing for you to stream, would be the game I'm going to talk about, and that is specifically Bloodstained: Ritual of the Night.
Are there samurai?
No, it's not samurai. I'm sorry. Although there might be a samurai ghost in there, so I guess it counts for me. There might be a samurai ghost. If there, I'll let you know in the future if there is.
You keep me up to date.
I will. Come back and say like I never missed a samurai update. But no, Bloodstained: Ritual of the Night is actually developed by, well, I shouldn't say developed by him alone, but by the man by the name of Koji Igarashi. He is probably most well known for coming on and creating, not so much creating, again, speaking too much of this man, but coming on and essentially being one of the programmer, scenario writers, and assistant director to Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which we know as a style to be called what's called Igavania, where Castlevania changed over from kind of like its level design style into effectively being like Metroid a bit, if not almost a lot like it. Since then, he's been kind of the head of a lot of the Castlevanias, if not all of them, including Chronicles, Harmony of Dissonance, Aria of Sorrow, Lament of Innocence, Dawn of Sorrow, etc., 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 etc. He just keeps
Aria is so good.
Yeah, there's just a lot that goes on. So this was started as a Kickstarter a long time ago in 2015 of May. I believe that was correct, May or March, one of the two. But it was funded pretty quickly. And seeing as how Capcom is not really in the realm to be making any more, or it's not Capcom, I think it's Konami, one of the two. God,
Konami got out of the video game.
I don't remember. Hold on, let me see here. Who was it? It was Konami. Yeah, they were out for a while. Seems how they've been kind of just not making games anymore for them specifically.
Yeah, I think they decided to go focus on pachinko machine.
Yeah, that's. I think last E3 they were at, they had like a sports game and that was it. But since the man has since left the company, and since they're not really utilizing those IPs anymore, he wanted to continue creating those kind of games, but obviously he needed to find some way to fund it, so he decided to do it through Kickstarter. And it's very much in the vein of those Castlevania games. You will be traversing around areas, you will be exploring maps, you will be picking up weapons, increasing stats. The RPG elements are there. You will be going and using spells, such and such forth, picking up better gear, doing neat little things, extra tricks and abilities as you progress the game. It falls really into the line of how those games have continued to progress and go along as the years have gone by. I actually cannot wait for this game to come out because I have been itching for a really good Castlevania-style game for a long time now.
Is it the same kind of setting?
It's the same kind of setting. It's gothic horror.
Okay,
has
cool.
The theme for everything. So I mean, you've got demons, ghosts, werewolves. It's got
gargoyles.
Yep, everything.
All that bats, all that stuff.
Yep, it's got everything you want. If it's something that's got mythological connections, if it's had some shape or form, a beast or creature, you will likely see it in the game in some point, in some shape. There hasn't been a lot that's been going on, at least for what we're seeing and like what's going to happen with it. I mean, there's obviously, if you go to the Kickstarter, you can see just exactly what's going to be in there, all the the extended achievements that they've done, including like a boss revenge mode and whatnot. So they've done a lot of cool stuff. We'll see how it goes down because I mean they've made over $5,500,000 something. I think the total is higher than that actually. No, it's just over that. Yeah, $5,545,000. They have a fair amount into this. I'm kind of skeptical though. I really, really want this to succeed, but having seen what was it, the Mega Man one, what was it, Project?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask about.
9.
Mighty Number 9.
Mighty Number 9.
I have Mighty Number 9 syndrome, where the guy who's responsible for a lot of the old 2D side-scrolling Mega Man games branched off and made his own game in the same vein and style, and it was generally not well received by anyone.
Yeah,
because it was exactly like Mega Man.
Nah, more that it was they made $10 million, and there's a game that made $250,000 and it's a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, I think the bigger difference though is that Iga has always been a programmer and whatnot. He's working hands-on with the game. I know that, and it's not to bash either of them. It's just that they're different walks of life, so different focuses on how they do things. I know specifically that Iga's been constantly working on this machine. He's been, as from what I can read and understand of him, because I don't follow the man's life, he's been praised at least being hands-on with projects that he's a part of. He never not has some personal touch on there. Whereas for Mighty Number 9, he wasn't so much an actual. I didn't like again not to start a fight with someone here because here I go, but I know that he was more of a. I want to say he's more of a man who was
producer.
Kind of, yeah, more of a producer than an actual.
More big ideas where instead of like fine tuning everything.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what it comes down to.
I just wanted to make sure I had the right name. This is what I thought it was. Keiji Inafune.
Yeah, I don't know the name well enough. I never really followed Mega Man or its creator, but I know Keiji Inafune generally had either good games or bad games. I mean, that happens. Once you have a lot of games on your name, you're always going to get like as many good games as you do bad games. But I guess it's just a different style. We'll see. I mean, there's only so much you can say before it comes back to it. I'm just hoping that it does turn out well. I have been keeping up with the updates on it, though. They've continuously come back with user support. And admittedly, this is something I'm really proud of them for. They were attempting to, this is just the easiest one to remember from the top of my head, but they were attempting to figure out what kind of shading and styling they wanted to utilize for the game. And instead of just choosing something, they gave the backers the ability to choose. They showed them a lot of different options and then said, like, here's kind of what we're looking in this area of, but we want you guys to help us decide what you feel is the best appropriate shading and design for it. And they gave us a couple options, and people were able to respond and comment, and then they took, by the majority poll, you know, what style to go by, and they took that, and that's the style that they're going to be utilizing now in the gaming. So that's actual fan input helping craft and create the game itself, which that's ecstatic for, because that really means that they want to know what the players want and are willing to work with that, as opposed to just saying, like, this is what we're going to show you, this is what it is, now just, you know, hold tight and wait till we get it out.
I'm more curious. I mean, I hope it does well too, because I'm a big fan of just crowdfunding stuff in general. I think it's really cool that we have kind of like a new push towards patroning and stuff like that.
Yeah, way to bypass the big AAA studios.
I mean, I really hope the game succeeds, and Metroidvania style games are, you know, really popular. People love them. I know Kickstarter has a bit of a bad rap right now, kind of, especially with gaming, and I think Mighty Renan had a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
So I just hope they kind of can get past that, because I'm just such a fan of crowdfunding in general.
I think it's a hit or miss type of thing. Crowdfunding in and of itself can be a tricky business. You're playing, it's almost like playing the stock market, but instead of playing stocks for cash, you're playing stocks to get a product out of it. And that makes it a little bit harder, because you can either put cash in to hope for cash out, and then that's fine. You might take some losses here and there. But when you start pledging in this, it can go anywhere from $5 pledge to like $1,000 or more of pledging.
Yep.
I mean, like, for instance, right here, there are 3 backers, which was limited, who could pledge $10,000. There were 3 people who pledged $10,000 to this game, who may never see it come to fruition, or who may even see it end up being a flop. That's a lot of money to invest into something that ultimately is technically not worth the output that you've put into it.
Yeah, they take the biggest risk. So,
yeah. I mean, they get the cool. I mean, you get the cool stuff with it. Like, for going to actually go meet Iga and whatnot himself, and get some really other cool stuff that goes along with it. Plus everything from lower tiers. But I mean, that is still a huge investment to make for a game that's going to sell on the market for $60.
Yeah, and you'd hope those people have that's a discretionary income for them to be able to do that. Otherwise, then holy moly.
That's definitely something, but all the same, it succeeded. The only thing that's kind of a disappointment, although understandable, because I thought this right from the start, was that they estimated this game was going to come out in March 2017, and seeing as how it's now April 2017 and the game's still not out, I think they were wrong. They've since changed it to 2018 for the release, although I don't think they've given a solid date. I'd have to go back through my updates on this, but since I've backed it myself, but
this stuff doesn't even faze me anymore. It's almost like a norm now for video games.
Not even surprised. When they said, because like it was 2 years development time cycle, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
This is not like a full production studio where their only excuse is that they're trying to make sweet, swanky graphics and tons of plot elements and whatnot. Does it
use old bit graphics and stuff like that?
It does and it doesn't. It's not actually sprites. It's nor bits anymore. It is it is utilizing 3D modeling, but the models and the designs are meant to look 2D, to give that feel of you are still side scrolling. You are not running around in a 3D field. You are still side scrolling, and it's
be something like a PS2 era kind of Castlevania. Because they weren't going to use the sprite-based graphics and stuff in that game, if they did any games like that.
I mean, it'll look better than those. Because,
I'm just saying, like, comparatively.
Yeah, I mean, you can probably just look it up and look for yourself at some point here in the future.
Yeah,
but
no, I mean, you've got me interested in it, because I love Castlevania. I love those games when I was a kid.
I know. They were so
Aria
fun.
Sorrow is my favorite one. So
Symphony of the Night is still my favorite.
It's everyone's favorite.
Damn it, if I don't love Dawn of Sorrow as well.
I love Aria, and I love the one for SNES. I think it's Castlevania 4.
Castlevania, Super Castlevania?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one, too. I never played those ones as much, though. I just didn't.
I love those games.
I didn't grow up with those. My big intro was Symphony of the Night.
Yeah.
And there was from
I hope they have good music in this one too, because that was another big thing about Castlevania for me was the music. So atmospheric.
I'm also hoping that the difficulty is pretty rough on you. I enjoyed Symphony of the Night because it was not gentle. It was, here's your character. You can die in like 2-3 hits unless you decide to farm for more health.
Is it going to have multiple characters like Soten does?
I don't know. That's kind of the stuff. Is like we know there's more than one character in there, but I think you are just playing as one character, and I don't remember her name. Miriam. That's who it is. There we go. In fact, I think you play as her through the whole game, but I do know there are other characters in there who have cool stuff on them. I just don't know if they're only there for story or plot.
Playable and stuff,
Yep.
yeah.
The last update that we got from them was, I would say, a month ago or so. Let me see here real fast. Yeah, it was in March 28th, so one more day and it will be a literal month's time since they've updated anything on it. But, yeah.
Yeah, you say Soten was hard, but I've seen someone beat it with a blindfold while speedrunning it before.
Oh,
so.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, once you get the speedrunners in there.
I know.
It's not a really good measuring stick.
That's the supreme outlier.
I'm just gonna say, like, all I remember is that if you go through the main stage, you're not sticking around for farming, and you go to the first boss, he can kill you in 3 to 4 hits. That's just So I mean, it's not very forgiving in that regard. That's 3 to 4.
I'm excited. I'll pay attention to it for sure.
It's definitely I'm excited for it too. I can't wait for it to come out. I just don't want it to be a flop. That's all I'm hoping for.
Cross your fingers. You're the one who's already spent money on it.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem. Man, that was a really hard button to press because I'm like, I want it, but I don't like investing into something that may not come out to be.
Yep, that's the risk, man.